Oh my goodness, we are back.
Oh.
What is everybody? Welcome to the Winners Lounge. Studio B Winners Lounge tonight, but you know what? A Winners Lounge is a Winners Lounge.
Oh man, no. Oh, this is not a normal Winners Lounge. This is a relief lounge.
Oh,
This is
man.
a I was ready to cry lounge.
And yet, the Nuggets get a 141-111 win over the Atlanta Hawks. Get that streak out of here.
It's going.
6-game streak, Atlanta. Get it out of here. The Nuggets come
and
in.
you too, Washington, with your losing streak.
The Nuggets are
All about breaking those streaks,
busters, man. The Nuggets get the win. We are presented as always by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Superstar Dev is in the house. How do we do on those bets?
We did our thing, of course. Of course, we did our thing.
Of course.
That felt good. It doesn't feel good to be in Studio B, but
It's a little cold.
we deserve to be here. But you know what? We put some of these together. We won't be back in here.
Yeah, that's true. I'll put
point,
some of
though.
these together. One in a row is all I
I like
needed
the
right
idea that
now.
this was an active
all I needed.
punishment, by the way, for us. Hey, Nuggets.
It's like the Nuggets
beat tonight.
There was a little a company meeting. I was like, Nuggets have been struggling lately. I just think we should move Avs into Studio A. Brennan Vogt's in the house.
If you came to the bar tonight, you were a brave soul, and then you became a lucky soul, and you are now a fed soul. So cheers to those who did. And man, sometimes you go, oh, they play again tomorrow. I was so glad.
I know.
I was so glad after last night that they play again today, because that did not need to linger. I'm not saying everything's over. I'm not saying they're out of the woods, but they certainly needed to respond. Fellas, they did.
They did respond, man. Let's go to the fast breakdown here. We're going to start. Nuggets had some pop to them. That's my very first note of the game. That to start this game, there was a little bit of like energy to the defense, to the offense. They just were popping, I would say. And that turned out to be true. Jokic had 13, 7, and 3 in his very first stint. You knew it was going to be a big night. We wondered if he's going to shoot. He was shooting it every single time down the court. 38-23 Nuggets after one. And then the bench comes in, guys. We know the story, Dev. Bench comes in, blows it, back to a tight game, and then everything's off. Not the case tonight. The bench came in and extended the lead.
Who would have thunk it?
The shorthanded bench of all benches. This weird conglomeration of players that we've never seen before. Jokic hit a buzzer beater from half court, which I just love. Jokic always heaves it. It almost is like he wants the ball at the end to show guys, screw your percentage, just take a shot.
Just take the shot.
And then tonight he hit it. And guess what? 71-48 Nuggets going into the half. You felt like it was over. You just need a good start to the second half. What happens in that third quarter? Absolute haymaker from the start. The Nuggets were not messing around. I actually credit the Nuggets. It's one thing we'll talk about. They looked focused tonight. Coming out when you're up 23 points in the second half, very easy to kind of go through the motions. They did not. They came out and landed a haymaker and went up 30. Then the Nuggets took their foot off the gas because they got up to 30 and it got down to 16 a little bit quick. Jokic did settle things a little bit. He had 41 at the end of the third quarter. It was 106-84 Nuggets. Trae Young got going. Starters did have to come back in. But you know what? I'm not going to complain because Jokic said he had, a 36-point night, something like 38-point night. He comes back into the game and goes, I'll just put up another 10, 12 points. Gets all the way up to 48.
At that point, leave him in for the 50. But listen.
So, something on that? Michael Malone, I think, did, because he sent the guys to the bench after they get the ball. So it's like one last possession, go get 50. And then somebody fouled immediately, so they didn't even get that possession,
Right,
and
yeah.
Jokic had to come out. I think Malone was like, dang it.
Well, I think
No, just go all in. Go all in on it. Let him get
Really?
the 50. You already did. You've already earned it at this point. You
Really?
allowed him to get the 50. It was one shot. Like, how much are you really sticking it to him for one more shot?
Back-to-back 50. So here's the thing, man. I love that all of Jokic's stats, to me, feel real. So I don't have to go back and be like, if someone tells me a Harden in 2018, he had 2 games of 50 in a row. I go, but I'll almost guarantee he was padding there. I kind of like that if Jokic gets a stat, you know it's real. And he didn't get back-to-back 50 pieces. And if he would have, it would have maybe been like, you know what?
Just do it. Just do it. Like, I mean, he's already got every single, legendary stat. Give him one more, like, to just add to.
Yoke's a monster scorer. We think of him as an all-around player, but it really is like, what would it look like if Yoke just went full Shaq mode? And I honestly think these last 2 games have showed us he would score 50 a night if he was only concerned with scoring.
Every single night. Every single night.
He can do this thing, man. All right, let's get to our Red Hawk Roofing big takeaways. Dev?
That's so good there, Whistle.
My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway in this one is Nikola Jokic decided to call out his team in various ways. And when you have your best player that is playing, at his peak, call you out in that way, it's about how you respond. I mean, the Nuggets responded in this one. You talk about, that energy. You talk about the vibe. This was a vibey win. This was everybody stepping up. This was new players being added to the mix. And with those other guys playing so well, like it gets to showcase how special Jokic is. When they're playing well, he's playing well, of course. But when you get these type of wins, you get to soak in a 48 point, 14 rebound, 8 assist, 3 steal performance. So I think that it's about responding and playing the right way. And I mean, the Nuggets clearly played the right way in this one.
They absolutely did. There's no question that this game was not just Yoke 48 piece, which is obviously insane, but he's insane every night. This was a night where the Nuggets were more buttoned up and actually did respond. So I agree with that big takeaway.
I have the same exact big takeaway as Dev. Maybe it's the low-hanging fruit here.
Sure.
Look, a little injury report luck, a lot of shot luck tonight. These things are all real. A winner or loss is, usually comprises more than one deciding factor. But I agree. It was time for Jokic to call them out. Jokic called them out. And the exact term he says, what are you expecting? A, quote, response, end quote. That's a response. You go in there, you win by 30. I know they're missing some guys. The Hawks had won 6 games in a row, 2 wins over the Cavs, wins over the Lakers, wins over the Bucks. I know those latter 2 are not the same as the first 2, but the Hawks have been playing well. That's a response, and you now you got to extend the response.
Yeah, you talk about like there being a little bit of injury luck. I feel like the Nuggets are the ones that had the excuse in this game. Like I don't think that it was the Hawks. They are on a 6-game winning streak. Nuggets are on a night of a back-to-back, and yeah, they're missing their second best player. It's not a max contract player. The Nuggets were also playing without Jamal Murray in this one. So like you had the same thing, but it was because the Nuggets responded, and it was the others that responded in this one that made that one feel just a little bit different. They responded well. They played well the entire time, and that's intensity on both ends of the floor. That's passing the ball. That's not. That's helping each other. I felt like this was the first time in a while that they played for the man right next to them.
I agree with
that. That matters.
100%, man, and. That's probably the right big takeaway from this game because I think that's really the more important thing. What I will say is 48 points for Jokic after dropping 56. Tonight, Westbrook, when he's on the court, we've talked about this. Westbrook, 11 assists tonight, just 9 points, only took 6 shots. He was 4 of 6. When Westbrook's on the court with Jokic, he just pushes the get the ball to Jokic button. And I honestly think it's why Jokic is scoring so much this year, more than any other reason. Some of it is he's trying to score more, he's being more aggressive. But I think more than anything, when Westbrook's on the court, Jokic knows this play ends with him giving me the ball somewhere. Whether it's a pop or a roll or under the basket, it ends with me getting the ball there. And it's such a great offense. Tonight, we're going to talk Pickett a little bit, but Pickett played the same button. Like Colin Gillespie last year, when he gets these surprise minutes, he's like, all right, all I'm going to do is just pass to Jokic and get out the way. And I think what you see here is when you do that, Jokic scores at this monster rate. I have to imagine these last 2 games, and tonight Denver brought their defense a little bit and brought some of the other intangibles, so it was why it was so different. But when you just give the ball to Jokic over and over again, I still think later on in the year he's going to have to pass a little bit more. He's going to have to build up some of this with his teammates. But right now, the waters are choppy. But guess what? Jokic is a great swimmer in choppy waters, and you just keep giving him the ball, and he'll put up 48. They play again in 2 nights. If they play like this, guess how many points Jokic's going to have? 45 plus. Because when you play this way, Jokic just can finish everything, man, and he sets the table. It's just usually the ball goes everywhere. Right now, it's just going to Jokic, and he's delivering.
So when I first got on the beat about 6 years ago, I wrote an article about the lost art of entry passes in the NBA, and it was something that the coaches and the development staff they lit up when I asked the question. It was something they were ready to talk about.
Yeah.
Modern guards just aren't as good as that as they used to be. And I even asked Jokic, and it was a rare, particularly honest moment from Jokic about his teammates. He said, yeah, it is frustrating. This is the Gary Harris, early Jamal Murray days. Russ is, among other things, his pedigree, his talent. Russ is a 36-year-old point guard. When Russ learned how to play basketball, he learned how to make an entry pass. Now, on top of that, he's one of the best passers and playmakers the game has seen, but specifically that skill set. This is something he learned how to do.
Yeah.
And it's actually been very, very refreshing. Jamal figured it out, to be clear, but over the years, we have seen the guards and some of the wings struggle with this. It is so refreshing to see a guy put Jokic in as advantageous a position as Jokic so often puts his teammates in.
I just feel like it's the smartest thing that you could do with being a guard that is not being cautious. I really don't think that Westbrook is that cautious right now. I also don't even know how great of a passer he is, but he knows what he's going to do every single time. He's forced it in like 2-3 people because Jokic is such a good catcher. Like, he's grabbing them at different spots, but Westbrook has the formula. He's like, hey, I'm going to give the best player on the court the ball every single time, and then I'm going to cut, or I'm going to, make a move after that. But when you could just feed him so many times, Jokic is such a inside out type of player that you're going to probably get the ball back or he's going to score. So I just think that it's the smartest basketball. And then you talk about the entry passes. Right now, with that squad they have right now, everybody has the same idea of we're just going to get it to him and let the chips fall. That's something that Jamal is going to have to pick up. And I know that it becomes easy to guard in your mind, but it's not, because the defense has to adjust to that. The defense still has to play you as a scorer. Yeah. And that's just something that I wish that he's just watching and picking up of, like, yeah, maybe I could do a little bit more about that. Then it could be the reads. We're not seeing a lot of dribble handoffs right now. We're not seeing a lot of plays being called. It's like, okay, we're going to give Jokic the ball, get out of the way, or just find cuts, and it's working to the best. So that's the freestyle type of basketball that leads to the beautiful game.
Do you guys remember those memes back in the day when it was like Jokic, but every time I get 10 retweets, I'll make him a little bigger? Yeah. You know, I feel like Jokic is just doing that in real life. He looks enormous out there. You know, like Capella and him used to kind of look similar sized or whatever. He looks absolutely enormous out on the basketball court. And he's just too big for everybody, man. A lot of the shots are just him putting his ass into a player, catching the ball, and then just like, it's like a little kid trying to guard his dad or something. Jokic's just incredible.
He's just enormous.
What about this one before we take our first break? How long does this go? Because I remember very vividly, I think it was January, was this 2005 or so, Kobe's crazy streak of just scoring 40, 50, or 60 every night, and it lasted a whole month. Jokic's kind of like... The numbers, I remember looking at him and being like, there's no way anyone will ever score like this again. Jokic's putting up kind of comparable numbers. So is this new Jokic, or is he just on a heater right now?
I think it's a mixture. But also, they're playing without Jamal.
Ooh.
Like, it's really the idea. And, I mean, it's just simple math. He wants to take shots as well. There's more mouths to feed. But also there is a real identity and agenda to make sure he gets the ball to take over. If you see 29 shot attempts, no matter who's there from Jokic, he's going to score 50. It's just how do we, or get close to 50 at least, because he's such an efficient scorer. But it's like, how do we get him to, take that many shots every single night? Even if Jamal was there needs to be a way to figure out how to still get him that many shots, because that is the best basketball that you're going to get. So I think that is here to stay for now, because even when you come back, you're not playing that well. Jamal hasn't been playing that well. So, okay, how do we, keep it simple? We're going to get you assists. We're going to get the ball rolling, and then it's going to be kick out. So maybe this is just a way of them showcasing that, I mean, there's two ways to play, and that way is working right now. Let's stick with it.
They play, real quick, Vogt, 4 games in 11 days. No, more than that. I'm sorry, 4 games in 16 days. They have a because the in-season tournament, like everything gets messed up.
It's just crazy because it feels like they've had such a light in terms of density.
They don't play till Friday. So they have all week off and play Friday night.
Oh, is this a good thing?
Well, I just wonder, you're going to get a fully rested and healthy Nuggets team, including Jokic. So I look at this and I go, I don't know, man.
They've been so bad off rest, but I know I understand what you're saying.
I think that the plan is going to backfire. More teams are going to be like, "Hey, we get more rest if we don't win that tournament." Or really, like
It could be. It
you're
could
getting
honestly
rest
be.
in the middle of the season right
Yeah,
now. The
you
Nuggets,
might be right.
Their schedule has been favorable, like with rest.
Yeah.
Like we talk about Jokic playing so many minutes, but he's been rested at different times. You know, one was him having a baby. The next one was like this in-season tournament. Like there's just been
Rest built in.
really like rested. And now you get to go into a stretch where you're not as banged up and you are getting the rest and things like that. So I think this is good for them. Until we see it, I don't see why we would think otherwise.
They don't play till Friday, 3 days off, then 3 days off again, then 3 days off again. Just a crazy schedule. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to start breaking down all the other players, including Jalen Pickett.
Man,
Including for the first time ever.
I was watching Adam watch that game thinking, do I even want to do the show with him tonight? Just kidding. Denver's best roofers have joined the DNVR team. Well, this is old news. Why are we talking about old stuff? You know about Red Hawk Roofing. They sponsored tonight's watch party in addition to tonight's big takeaways at the start of the show. They're just big Nuggets fans, and they're big Colorado people that are providing a service to you, our listeners. They are the best roofers in the business that deal with quality materials. They have decades of experience. They have a very quick response time. They're the best estimators and contractors around. Huge DNVR supporters, which is cool for us. Helps your small talk as well. You can just talk about Jokic. What a treat. Free no obligation roof and property inspections and free in-depth photo reports for all inspections. Supporting your local teams means also supporting local businesses like Red Hawk Roofing. If you are looking for a new roof over your home or business, be sure to check out Red Hawk Roofing at redhawkroofing.com or call 720-771-8921. Tell them that DNVR sent you.
You got both of them
I'll
here,
do
yeah.
both of them. Okay. Verizon. Oh, man, we have new partners now. Verizon. What a treat. We would like to welcome our newest partner, Verizon. They are way more proud to be a part of the show today than they were yesterday. That's right. Right now, you can get a $200.
They almost pulled it, man. They were
like,
so close.
Does that guy always vape? That's right. Right now, you can get a $200 Verizon gift card when you switch and purchase a select phone on select unlimited plans. So start the holidays off right with a great network and use that gift card to start checking other tech gifts off your list like smartwatches, tablets, headphones, and more. Switch now and get that $200 gift card only at Verizon. The $200 Verizon e-gift card is sent within 8 weeks, requires device payment purchase, minimum retail price of $799.89, and port in with new smartphone line on postpaid Unlimited Plus or Unlimited Ultimate plan required.
There you go. And we are back. Kale, who did you decide to give the game ball to tonight? Was it Pickett? Oh,
Was it
got the short end of the stick again. Oh, man, it's Jokic. 48,
Yeah, I guess.
14 and 8. It is a Yokogami. Back-to-back Yokogamis, by the way. Stat lines that have never in the history of the game been put up. Back-to-back games for Yoke. I think it's 7 this year.
How many different combinations of that can he have? Like when it's all said and done, he's gonna have every single like first since Jokic. Like really, that's
Hop
gonna
up a
be
lot.
insane. Tonight was a masterpiece, and it truly didn't even look like he played and had another masterpiece. Like he had an encore performance tonight after just putting up 56 points. He had 48 and 14 in this game. And everything comes so easy for him. It's so like easy. Really simple basketball. Hit the 3-point shot is falling. He's deciding to get others involved. So like the assist are there, but then they decide to go with single coverage. He licks his fingers when he sees single coverage. Like that is really so simple for him. Where they have
one guy, come on.
It's just it's a bad decision for other teams. But they're like we have nothing else that we could go. They try to do double coverage at different times. They try just different ways to like disguise their double coverage and things like that. He reads it on the fly and then adjusts to it to score every single time. And this is another classic game for him.
You know, Capella and Yoke came up together, through the Nike Hoop Summit and, some of those things. They were kind of like pitted against each other as, okay, who do you want? And I distinctly remember in like 2018 when he was going off with the Rockets on that team, people being like, Yoke's good, but I'd rather have Clint Capella. He does all the stuff you need your center to do. And I just I kind of love it every time Jokic just completely sauces.
Dude, there's
it.
an all-time is the Dream Shake SB Nation. They have the all-time Nuggets receipt tweet. It's I think Capella's ceiling is close to where Jokic is, and he's nearly there now. This is just like my favorite. It's a hilarious thing to bring up years later, but I think about it all the time. I am hopeful that this actually stops soon and because this is maybe a symptom of what's not working well.
I know, but I'm enjoying the numbers so much.
Man. I'm going to say, if my consolation prize is like, oh, he can be the best scorer in the league, it's up there. So
how close is he now?
I mean, he's not. I mean,
not that close.
It's all about it. His argument is going to be efficiency on volume. It's never going to actually be that he's the purest best scorer in the league.
He's number 2. He's 32.3.
Oh, okay.
He's actually 0.2 behind Giannis right now.
You know what, Vogt? Shut up.
32 points a game is insane. Well, I guess he just averaged, 100 something.
That's the joy of it, though, is because we've kind of always known, like, yeah, man, I think Yo could put a back-to-back 50-point game. So it was fun to see. That said, I'm actually very hopeful that it changes, because that would be hopefully a sign of a healthier offense. But guys were playing the right way around Jokic tonight too. So it's a 48 piece. He was unbelievable, of course. It looked a lot easier to me than last night. Not that he was struggling last night, just he was fighting uphill against his teammates' ineptitude and futility. Whereas tonight, man, Christian got back to all that cutting, that really smart cutting. Not just, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to cut. It was really timely tonight. It gave Jokic a valve. It gave Jokic some bailout options. And I just thought guys were playing the right way around him tonight. So even though he did take 29 shots again, I felt like this one looked a little bit different than that last game. And go figure, Brendan, because they won by 30.
Well, let me throw this at you. That comes courtesy of our Harrison Wind. Malone said Jokic addressed the team this morning. Malone challenged his guys to speak up, and Jokic did today. I love this idea that Jokic finally spoke up and said something. We don't know what, but it is one of those things that when you speak up as a player, as Jokic, he gets those bullets because he doesn't use it often. When you speak up, you better go score 48.
I mean, not Jokic. The thing is, really, if a person who never calls you out, that is like really one of the best to ever do it, calls you out specifically, you better change. You better look within, because this is not the type of leadership that Jokic is, accustomed to. His is lead by example. For him to step out and be a vocal leader on top of that, like, that's a newfound respect for him. And then also, it's like something that you think about. Even if you don't agree originally, once he calls you out, you're like, okay. Like, really, something's got to change. What I've been noticing in this game, or what really looks different from Jokic this year, he looks like he's in the best shape of his life. He just put up 29 shots. Last night, he put up like 30 something.
That is exhausting.
That is exhausting in itself. It doesn't look exhausting for him. He's not tired in the exact same ways where he's only taking 3-pointers. And this is like more down, in the post banging than he's like typically accustomed to. And he's still running full speed. He's still, getting out on closeouts and defense. So like he really does look like he's in his peak right now.
Yeah.
Can I go back to Russ really quick for one thing before we move on? In the pregame show, we've talked about Russ as a point of attack defender, specifically point of attack. And you brought up, Adam, one thing we kind of like about it is the way that he, while on defense, ironically, goes on the offensive sometimes. Maybe you want to call it gambling or attacking. But I think Westbrook is at times more concerned with making guys uncomfortable far out from the basket than he is being in perfect position. And I at sometimes, particularly right this moment in time for the Nuggets, I love it, because I think guards have been getting into their spots just so easily against the Nuggets all year long. And Russ may get blown by because he took a risk. And yes, this was a bad night from Trae Young, no matter how you slice it. But I thought Russ was like, I'm going to get in you. I'm going to make you a little less comfortable. And so you can't just walk into this stuff. Mm-hmm. And that I thought was really welcome. And I just thought it was a really good performance from Russ tonight.
They were missing their release valve and Jalen Johnson. And so it made it a little bit easier for Denver to really go out. But to, your point, 15 points for Trae Young tonight. I mean, they bottled him up. I thought it was really good. Christian Braun tonight, I thought he was a plus 34, which is a game high. And I feel like his plus minus is a bit of a bellwether for the Nuggets. He had 17 points, which is fine. Like, he's been scoring. 8 rebounds, which is big. We talked about his rebounding. He does get 4 assists, 2 steals and a block. And I feel like, I kept thinking about Yoke's comments about maybe some guys could get benched, because I'm like, well, Murray's not out there. AG's not out there. So he could only really be talking about Christian, Peyton, or Mike, or perhaps all three of them. And I was wondering even if Christian was catching a little bit of heat from him. You know, he's scoring a lot. Maybe that's focus on that a little bit. Christian can get 17 points by just playing playing in the system. His role is defense, and tonight I thought he was very good.
Welcome back.
Welcome
back, Christian.
Yep.
Plus 34 is insane.
It is.
And this is back to the Christian that we did not expect to see early in this year. The hustle was there, the rebounding and getting out on the break, but also the confidence was back where he knocks down 2 3-pointers. And I think that that's where it's been in his head of not shooting, getting out in the break and finishing around the rim. Because I feel like he was not running and he was not finishing as well. But in this game, he did, which is opening up other parts of his game. I also feel like this was a game that it wasn't on him to just be the primary defender. So I think that he got on the offensive. He got aggressive offensively. And then that leads to him playing hard defense and help side. Peyton Watson and Russell Westbrook's defense on Trae Young tonight, incredible. It was why they got out to that big lead because they sent the double team a lot of times. They pushed him, and he just talked about like not letting him get comfortable, pushed him out of his spots, and then ran on transition because of the steals and kickouts and things. So yeah, this was great to see Christian Braun get back into a flow because when he's playing well, the Nuggets are playing well.
Yeah. Dev's all over it, and he was all over it in the pregame show. He asked the question, doesn't it feel like Christian hasn't been getting rebounds lately? It's one of your bets at Bet365, where it's never ordinary. And I thought one of the great early signs tonight was Christian going up and soaring for this early rebound, like in the first 2 minutes. And I thought he set the tone for himself and helped set the tone for really everyone that played tonight. And, the 17 points is great, and the 15-point games are great. But for Christian, just in terms of a sign of health of the team, I don't think you want to see 15, 2, and 0 and 0. Right. Like he's a disruptive player, and the rebounding is stuff that he can sort of make happen regardless of game flow and circumstances. And then 4 assists tonight as well, but also 3 stocks. So he picked up his 17 by running hard, being fearless at the rim. But I also thought he did the little Christian things as well that he's made his name on thus far.
What's funny is Christian's in this uncomfortable and unfortunate spot where when he has 14 points, I'm just so used to it now. So it's in a weird way, if he had a game with 8 points, I wouldn't be distraught about it. I'm like, well, the guy's scoring. We check that box. He can be a contributor on offense. You're almost solely focused now on his defensive impact. Yeah. So last handful of games, to your point, Dev, hasn't been doing it. Tonight he was, and it was great to see. Let's talk about Porter as our last guy in this segment here. 26 points from him, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Did not shoot the ball from 3 well, 1 of 5. And he only missed those shots, and I guess one other, because he finished 12 of 17. I thought it was a good bounce-back game from him. I do wish he was hitting his 3 a little bit more, but he just had a lot of good offense.
If he starts hitting his 3-pointer, or when he does, he's going to be putting up 30 points every time because really he truly has found a way to score in different ways. And this is a player that everybody said he was just limited. All he could do is shoot. There's nothing else to his game. And he's been showcasing that he can do more. 3 assists. He never was passing early on. But now with opened up the rest of his offense, he's now passing the ball. 7 rebounds. He's always been a great rebounder that uses his size, but now he's doing it for putbacks. His finishing around the rim, and especially when he gets fouled, he finishes all and ones every single time. Like he
has such good touch.
He's a great finisher around the rim that when the 3 ball comes back, as we know it will, it just opens up a lot of his game. And a lot of people are going to stop wanting to trade him when he does those type of things. So, it was a great game for Michael Porter Jr. And he stepped up as he understood that he had to be the second best offensive player. He put up 17 shots, efficient, 12 of 7 from the field. From the field.
Yeah, it's funny. He struggles so much still on ball to get himself open.
I mean, he has no bag, no shake.
But he can get himself open off ball. It's kind of interesting.
I've always said he's a receiver.
And he's a receiver, and he's another tall guy, right? So like the angles for him and Jokic to work with are very nice. And I will say, I think one market improvement for Mike over the years are his hands. There were a couple of runouts tonight where I'm not trying to tell you he has good hands now. Yeah. I'm just trying to say it was a very blatant weakness, and he is catching more of these things. But yeah, man, he just gets himself open in the paint now really pretty easily. and pretty consistently. And that's a welcome development. But it does feel like with Mike, you're still waiting for the game where it all happens at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's
most players, honestly.
Listen, as far as guys that are talented enough that last night had to have been different, Mike's at the top of the list. And so when Jokic said there's got to be a response, to me, it seemed like Mike went, well, he's definitely talking about me, and I'm going to play harder tonight.
Yeah. All right, let's take a break. On the other side, we're going to talk about Peyton Watson. He's the one guy that's minutes have been really reduced lately, so I want to get your guys' takes on that. And then, of course, Jalen Pickett. 2 good games in a row. We're on a streak right now.
Let's do it. Don't cross the picket line. Strange things are afoot at the Circle K, guys. Like this new Inner Circle membership program. Circle K is proud to present this Inner Circle program to you. It's a free membership. It's easy to download. Here's how it works. Give them your email and your phone number to get fully enrolled. After that, you're going to start getting deals every day on food, drinks, and more. If you sign up for the Inner Circle app now, membership with the Circle K app, you'll get 25 cents off per gallon on your next 5 fill-ups. That does add up. Find it in the app under Inner Circle and offers. Download the Circle K app now and sign up for the Inner Circle for exclusive offers, new offers, purchase clubs, and sweepstakes are uploaded weekly. And, guys, life's not always easy. I think we all know this. I think as you grow older, you realize a big part of life is about how you navigate when things aren't going well. And that's not always something to be done on your own. And whether you're dealing with insecurities, anxieties, or more external or outward-facing fears in life, don't face them alone. You might benefit from talk therapy. You might benefit from BetterHelp. So visit betterhelp.com/DNVR today and get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DNVR. Again, check out BetterHelp and don't go it alone. You don't have to.
It's hilarious that Jokic's average over the last 2 games is 52, 15, and 8. That's an incredible average, a 2-game average. What an absolute monster he is. I hope he keeps it going, man. I hope he keeps it going because I would love for this to be the year where we just have the stat lines that we're like, what on earth? We need to almost at the end of the year a shirt of every Jokic's. You know how like bands will do the tour dates that they went on? It's like every location. We need just every Jokic points, rebounds, and assists because you'll look at it and you'll always see something new. Like, oh man, that's insane. Peyton Watson tonight had 4 minutes in the first half. That was fewer than Hunter Tyson, a lot fewer than Julian Strawther. And AG came back 4 games ago. Then AG missed 1 game. Peyton Watson played in that one. But in the 3 that AG has been back, Peyton Watson has been the low man minute-wise. Tonight he finishes with 18 because he played, I think, 14 minutes straight to end the game.
And he was good.
And he was pretty decent. And I got to be honest, man. You can't argue with the results. Tonight they win by 30 points. But at the same time, I can't really identify what it is that has him. He seems to be in the doghouse. Maybe you guys don't think he is, but he seems to be one of the guys that's getting these minutes reduced. And when you look at Julian tonight, by the way, Julian -2 in his 22 minutes, like get a 30-point win. Hunter Tyson playing over him. I'm not seeing exactly what it is that has him on the outs.
Yeah, just to be clear, I'm in fully speculative mode here.
Sure.
Just to be very clear.
And maybe he's not on the outs. Like it might just be that's what's happening.
So
but
sometimes you wonder, as a podcaster trying to tell you something, I'm just talking. I'm just talking. But Malone had that quote maybe about a week and a half ago, which we almost never hear in Denver, which is guys are so worried about how much they're playing, how much they're shooting. I just wondered who he was talking about because I know he hates that stuff.
Every coach does, man.
Just a little backwards detective work then. If Peyton has since maybe been playing fewer minutes, that's where my mind went. I'm not saying definitively, that he was talking about Peyton there. But man, Adam, you and I talked about this well before the season started. When everyone is healthy, is Peyton going to get that runway?
Right.
And we know what he likes about Julian and what he thinks Julian can provide at his best. We know that Peyton is this awesome, awesome defender. But when AG is back in the mix, I just don't see this like linear path to it. Your year is going to be really smooth and you're going to get better because it's all set up for you to get better. I'm not surprised that he's kind of taken a step back since AG got back.
you talk about dog houses, like who is it? Snoopy? That's like sleeping
on top of
the
it.
dog.
Yeah.
That's
Snoopy.
Peyton. That is Peyton.
So he's not in the dog
He's
house.
not in it, but
he's on top of it.
He's right on top of it. He's damn sure around the doghouse. Because
I love that.
really, it's shocking that he's not playing that many minutes. And you look at this is a pretty alarming game. He's been playing well lately as far as like plus minus and like them winning when he's out there. But he's getting pulled very, very early. He gets to 18 minutes in this game. And like we talked about, he got those late. Aaron Gordon is still ramping himself back in. He only plays 22 minutes in this game.
Only took 2 shots inside the 3-point line tonight, AG. Very interesting.
And then Peyton Watson, he was a starter that played well when he was out. So you would assume that this is like a product of Aaron Gordon coming back, but it's not, because you look at this game. Pickett plays 17 minutes. Hunter Tyson plays 8 minutes, and this is a guy that hadn't played the entire year. So like those minutes are being taken from Peyton, where he's now in the same, caliber right there with them. And that's a little bit shocking. This is my own opinion. I feel like there's something that the coaching staff is saying, this is what you need to do every single game. The minute he doesn't, it's a short leash.
And they should be back in town this week. And I'm very curious to ask that exact question.
Because I really do think it's like something like, hey, you need to box out more. Like something very simple of
And
like,
it could
hey,
be that,
you're
by the way.
because he does not box out.
Yeah.
It could be like a guy cutting, in his face or behind him without him, bumping him or help side. There's something to it that the minute he doesn't do it, it's like, okay, we already talked about that. You're out of here. Because he is playing well. He had, a tough finish in this one. He has
defensively, he also had 3 stocks.
He makes plays.
He
Brown.
had 2 blocks, and he's going at the top to get.
Oh,
the
he had
blocks.
one that was an eraser. Yeah, that was a
Insane
2-pointer
block and running. Playing good defense like you would ask him. And he's not really just. I mean, the idea is that he's a young guy. He's not just a young guy. He's like a part of this rotation. I mean, he's the same age as the other guys on there, and they said that they wanted him to play. So I think that there's just something specific that they're wanting to see and they're not seeing it. So, I mean, short leash on top of the doghouse, Snoopy.
He's definitely on. I love that. He's on Malone's radar for sure. In a similar way that Mike was. I know they were 2 different players, but if Malone catches a mental error from Peyton,
it's like worth 5.
Yes. Yeah, he just weighs it more heavily because it's driving him seemingly crazy. And maybe Dev's right. Maybe there is something specific in these film sessions that they're hoping cleans up. But to your point, when Peyton gets a long enough runway, he seems to take off. And I thought there were a couple of really disruptive plays tonight defensively that even if he only scored 2 points, I really didn't mind his 18 minutes. Just something to track here for sure. When Aaron Gordon plays, how much will Peyton play? When will he play? Will it be with Jokic? I think this is kind of the story of his season.
And all players, when they play with Jokic as opposed to against them, look terrible, which brings us to our next player, which is, of course, Jalen Pickett. Coming into tonight, he's been here for 2+ years, 2 full seasons, and now 22 games. So list of guys that have played more minutes than with Jokic than Jalen Pickett. Bol, Axel Toupin, Alonzo G, Shaq Harrison, Hunter Tyson. Like shocking names that you go, wait, those guys were here for a year or shorter and played more minutes with Jokic.
That's actually crazy.
Than Jalen Pickett has and all of that. He played 35 minutes in 2+ years until this weekend where he played about 35 minutes. And what do you know? He actually had 2 games that I thought looked good. And, I brought this up. This was my big takeaway yesterday from yesterday's losses. There's just a lot of guys on the Nuggets that look like they have no confidence in who Malone is extra expressive in his disapproval of said players. And Pickett's one of them. Gets 2 good games under his belt. Of the last 100 players to win or to be an All-American college, only 5 ever did not receive a second contract, ever. And so I always look at that and I go man, the odds are just in his favor that he's not a horrible player. I thought tonight, it wasn't that he did anything dynamic. He ran the get the Jokic the ball offense phenomenally, I thought. And to the degree where you were saying he was open, he wouldn't shoot. He wasn't trying to shoot. He wasn't even trying to pass. He was just trying to set the table, get the ball to Jokic and get out the way, which if you're trying to get minutes on the court and settle, build some confidence in your teammates, it's a great thing to do. And I honestly thought he was great at it tonight.
This was a hilarious game, especially here in the bar. When he scored, because you're thinking that he had a monster game.
5 points.
Yeah, 5 points. They would allow his 5 points.
Step back 3 was nice,
Everybody's going crazy. Somebody called this pick miss. It was going crazy. Somebody's calling this Pickmas. Like really, this is not to say a monster game, but this is
It was a good game, I thought.
This is a shocking game because with Jamal being out, like they had to go to somewhere. And this is like somebody that you have to be happy for because we all thought that he was damaged goods. He was just in the G League. He was not getting played over. Trey Alexander, who's on a 2-way contract, was playing over Jalen Pickett, who's on the roster, who was not even with the team. So he has to get on a plane or, and get ready for these type of games. And he has 2 good games in a row that you're like, okay, maybe something is there. He's a plus 18 in the game.
Third best. And by the way, he did it in 17 minutes. Probably had the highest net rating on the team.
Who would have seen that coming? There's like little things that he could get better at, but it's because he's not playing a lot. This is like fast-paced, different type of game for him, but he knew how to run the offense. He had 4 assists. He made sure that it was with Jokic and the right way to play. Like Jokic could say, like, I like that. That's something that I could get behind. So, like, yeah, this is a great momentum, type of career.
Huge for him personally.
Him personally. Right now,
he had literally 0 good NBA games. Like he was going to be like, hey, I played in the NBA. I sucked in literally every game I ever played in. Now he's got 1.5 games that he was actually good.
Whether he gets a chance in Denver ever again or not, right? Which
might be it.
And he might not. But the point is, I think confidence can be really so important for these guys who are on the bubble of making the league or not.
So
on the bubble,
important.
And you I think framed it well. Pickett has been a horrible NBA player to this point. And no one is going to build a roster that builds an offense to make life easier for Jalen Pickett. And he's a point guard who's best with the ball in his hands. So those things are all working against him. But a big thing is confidence. And it is amazing going down even just a level. Now it's a big level down to the G League. You go from a guy who looks like he can't play basketball to 30-point triple-doubles. Quite obviously, the guy can play. I don't know if he'll ever be a good NBA player, right?
I mean, probably not. This does nothing for that.
But for him personally, man, I am very relieved because the confidence stuff is huge. Jalen Pickett is not a horrible basketball player. And I'm honestly, not just because he was plus 18 and they needed the win tonight, I'm really happy for the guy who is not having the get rich and famous NBA experience that a lot of people have. And so this is, I think, one guy that, like, on a human level, I was very relieved for him tonight. And so good for him.
Him and Zeke Naji, Michael Malone has never hated players as much as he hates those two. I mean, or at least that's what I observe from every single interaction, not just on the court. And so I do think he's had a tough go, but for him to get this one is kind of nice. And like I said, man, he's not a bum. The guy averaged 17, 7, and 7 in college. Those are very rare numbers for college. And he's the one thing that people would always say about him that drove me nuts, because he is slow. I don't know if his handle's good enough. He's really short. I don't know if he's big enough. Like, there are real questions about could this guy, I mean, I think it's over now, but could this guy have ever made it in the NBA? I don't know, because he has real limitations. The one thing people said about him that always drove me nuts was that he's a dumb player. He's not a dumb player. He's actually a really smart player. And even defensively, he's a really smart player. I'm glad he got a little bit of run tonight. I thought it was awesome. By the way, Aaron Gordon, is there anything we want to make of this? 6 points, 1 of 6 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3. He's not really getting a ton inside this year.
I actually, assuming he is doing okay health-wise, I appreciate that he played tonight, even though he didn't play well, because there was sort of a season momentum in the balance thing of how seriously are we going to take this game. And I just respected that he was like, well, I'm not going to sit this one out. Jokic just called this out. I'm not going to sit this one out. Now, was he great tonight? No. Although 6 assists is cool. But Dev, I just like that he played and said, all right, we got to have each other's back today.
Right.
Yeah, you want to talk about a guy that's willing to do anything for the team, like real sacrifice. I mean, he only played 22 minutes. A lot of guys are going to say, no, I don't want to mess up my stats, or I don't want to, he doesn't care about those type of things. I think that this was a game that he said, we just got embarrassed because I did not play. We cannot lose in the same way. We cannot let Jokic down. I think that it was more than just calling him out, but that made it easier of like, I don't care. I'm going to give my all for my guy while I'm out there. He clearly is not healthy or ready right now because he is not banging. He's not dunking. He's not, trying to be a force in that type of way. He shoots just the 3 ball in this game. But he was available. He had 6 assists. They were dimes. Like, he really is, like, just making sure that he's also part of the offense. But I really think that this was a guy that understood, hey, they might need me tonight. And when they did not need him, he said, okay, I'm just going to go back to the bench. He is truly the ultimate glue guy and role player.
We got to take a break, but somebody just told me this is how I'm going to do the narrative, because I don't know if Pick will ever play again. This was a special circumstance where they were really short-handed. He did play 2 games. Jokic had his 2 career highs. I don't know. Coincidence? I don't know. What would Jokic average with Pickett, Kale? 60? Probably 60. I mean, the numbers are telling us.
All right, DNVR listeners, if you are on the hunt for the best fried chicken sandwiches, tenders, and salads in Denver, you can find them all in the same place. Just look for Bird Call, where they're all about the all-natural chicken goodness with that fully customizable menu. They've just dropped something new. We've talked about it for the last month. It's the Bird in a Box, and people are going crazy over the Bird in a Box.
I'm so hungry right now.
I can do a Bird in a Box right now.
Really hungry.
It's dinner time, too.
Kale, can you...
Here's how it works. For just $9.95, you can build your own bird in a box with your choice of 2 crispy sliders or 1 slider and 2 tenders, plus tots or fries, pickles, and one of their signature sauces.
That sauce.
Or if you like it spicy, you can upgrade to Nashville hot tenders. Bird Call was hatched in Denver, Colorado, and now has 8 restaurants across the Front Range, with more opening soon. Get over to Bird Call. Get your hands on a bird in a box. This week only, DNVR fans can score 25% off any $15 order at Bird Call with promo code DNVR. Get down to Bird Call or order online at eatbirdcall.com. Grab this offer now through the end of December. We gave away a very cool Breckenridge Brewery branded snowboard, kind of decorative piece the other night in the bar. I just think it's so cool the different things Breck does. They have I talk to Eric about this all the time. They do a really great job with their branding and their art, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
And they've got some distinct branding on all the many different kinds of beers that they offer. Tons of different beers coming from Breck Brew, and they will experiment, but they try not to ever jeopardize that core beer quality you're looking for. I'm talking about the sound, the feeling, the qualia. Just crack open an ice cold beer can. You know what I'm talking about. And you get that feeling when you drink a Breck Brew. Check out the beer locator at breckbrew.com to find a brew near you.
There you go. Jokic does leave the NBA right now in rebounds. He's second in assists, second in points.
Only second, though?
No, only second, man.
Ugh.
I mean, it would be pretty fun.
What's he honest at?
Let's say, all right, let's do this before we get to Super Chats, of which we have many. Before we get there, Kale, Pickett having a resurgence and actually play. Again, this is not what's happening. They're just very short-handed. He played, and he didn't even play that great. He played like passable. But let's just go with it. Pickett actually being a piece of the team that plays, and it's dope. Not on my bingo card this year. If it happens, that would be incredible. Pickett saves the season. What's another thing that's like on the table, as in there's a 0.1% chance it happens?
Like an alien
that
takeover.
For you.
Alien takeover.
Was this yours? I was going to say, it could be Jokic is just going to score 48 for the rest of the season.
I don't know if anything's that crazy. I don't know. It's just truly don't save the season. This is a guy that these last 2 games, Malone's like, who is that?
He was making fun of him when Pickett got the ball ripped from by Dyson freaking Daniels, the lead
who does this to everyone.
Stealer in the NBA. And Malone was on the bench. They cut to him and he's making faces. And you're like, geez, how much do you hate this poor guy?
Truly, I don't know what there was.
Seems like a nice guy.
This
Jokic scoring. It could be, honest to God, Jokic. It might just be that Jokic like, I know how to fix this team. 45 a game.
I don't think it still will be as crazy because he can do that, and we've seen him do that.
Yeah, I mentioned it with Dev. Far more likely.
All right, but still it's
likely
on the table. If we're just talking about recent trends that are on the table, Jokic averaging 35 from here on out. 35 is not the craziest number. It kind of feels like his mind is on it right now.
It would have to, but it would have to be like 38 or 39 for it to match.
Okay,
how crazy Jalen Pickett is. Like, really, these are his only highlights in the NBA right now, and it is really a good story. And I really do hope that he's able to play a bit more. With that being said, he won't be. You know, they're going to get a whole nother week off. Jamal is getting some,
he'll be back.
Much needed rest. And probably time to look within. So, like, this is him going back down to 3rd on the depth chart, 4th on the depth chart, if that.
And not playing,
but at least
for sure.
He's not on the G League right now. I think that that's something for you mentally that you could build off of. Because, really, I do think that this is damaged goods. He's been bad in the league, but he hasn't had the true opportunity. Maybe he's finally getting it, and it's like, okay, these are some of the things that I'm seeing right now from him. So, like, I'm rooting for it. I really am.
Amy in the chat says it's Pickett's Linsanity moment.
Oh, I would take it.
By
A
the way-
month of
by the
crazy
way-
play.
By the way, it is 2 of 2 from the floor tonight.
I'm telling you, set the table.
First thing I ever wrote as a sports blogger was about Linsanity, actually.
No way.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Right now, Jokic leading the team in 3-point percentage. That could be a crazy one, too.
That's going to stay.
At this rate, brother, you know?
Who else could it be? Like, I mean, Michael Porter hasn't been shooting
Aaron Gordon
well.
is right behind him.
Although the
I
0
mean,
for 4, he just had 0 for
1
4.
Yeah, 0 for 4, and he's going to probably continue to just shoot threes.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Jokic's pretty comfortably ahead right now on the
He
percentage
legit
list.
may do that this year. Yeah.
That's wild. All right, let's get to some super chats here.
Elijah, Russ's pure energy and lockdown defense is a huge reason the margin was so huge tonight. Plus, Mike quietly had a great game. We are so possibly back.
One game,
We are
baby.
so cautiously, possibly, maybe. I hope.
I'm not showing the graphic.
Yeah.
For something to look at, I wonder when Westbrook plays, like, let's say 30 minutes a game, or like 28, we'll say 28 minutes a game alongside Jokic, what Jokic's points per game is.
Yeah.
I bet,
I
it's
I could
something
find
ins-
it. I bet I
it's
could
something
find it.
insane.
I'll find it while we look this
When
up.
he plays at least
By the
28
way,
minutes.
is it possible? I mean, Yoke spoke up today. I know that we're joking and stuff, but Yoke spoke up today, and that's no small thing to me. And so, December 8th, maybe a Yokemus came early. This is the date John Lennon was killed.
Yeah,
That's one
cool.
thing to remember.
All right, cool, perfect. Why not today then? Let today be the day. Ryan,
What did you say? Points per 100 possessions? I can look that up.
Well, with Russ on the
with
floor.
Russ, yeah.
Ryan B says, "Stay in Studio B. It's clearly blessed." Studio B is actually awesome. We always lament it because it feels like we got demoted, but
It does feel that way, but it's
very
not
cool.
that way.
It's actually not that way at all. Mr. Exquisite Nugget, wins in a 5-star hotel hit different. Nice humble brag there, buddy. Hashtag all the Nuggets are good.
Really? Well,
Druid
I wouldn't know.
Druid trading. Yeah. Westbrook, 1 quarter block foul made them tremble. Hey, listen, man. When they signed Westbrook, I made this specific point. Do you remember when Trae Young went into Denver, scored 40, and went like this to their bench and no one did anything?
Oh, it sucks,
Sometimes,
man.
even if it's just a hard foul, just to let them know, like, I am in your grill tonight.
That game, you're talking about Trae in
Yes.
Denver. Dude, that game was maybe the most Denver has ever been just like beat by one guy.
He was a villain.
He was
true
such a villain that game. Had everybody looking dumb. By the way, I have answered your question here on a per 100-minute basis. He scores 10.38 more points per 100 possessions with Westbrook on the court than without. That's actually a lot.
Well, because Russ isn't just entry passing and then here you go. Russ hits him in advantageous spots. Russ finds the windows. He gives him direct scoring opportunities. It's
crazy.
Awesome.
Sam, we appreciate the super chat, but we're on TV now and have to comply by federal broadcasting
Oh, do we?
regulations.
Did he have a bunch of Fs and
I think there were some curses in there. And we might be. Let's hit that one at the end when we're off TV. Druid trading Brody 25 assists in 2 games. Brody, I really like. It's cool to get to say Brody when he's plays for the team you like. Beast 46 for one night in Atlanta. Hashtag all the Nuggets are
all
good.
the Nuggets are good. That is the first one of the year.
CJ Jones was a little concerned about turning on the game after missing the first quarter. Didn't want to jinx it. Glad I watched it. They looked good.
Hell yeah.
Jinx don't matter.
Peter Duck, worst part is no game till Friday. Again, NBA. Why?
At least we get to sit on a win.
I know, man. That's what I'm saying. If it was after that last game.
Friday is so long from
It is
now.
a long one. A whole week.
Yeah. I'm going to get creative on the shows this week. Hashtag shut up and take my money. Brody plus Yoke over Jamal. Let's go on a streak. Hashtag if only. Crossed fingers.
If only what?
I don't know. Grapey. Jokic does something all time whenever Larry Nance is on the same floor. For this reason alone, Booth should make the call.
Bro.
I co-sign this.
I co-sign with it too.
That is
Although
a good-
I was watching him take
that's a
his
good
threes
pull.
tonight. Just didn't look
Oh,
good.
you don't think that's going to work too in Denver's
Yeah,
bench?
it's
with the
kinda like,
Alcohol?
I don't
But
know.
you can
Hey,
envision that now.
That dunk he had was
Yeah, it was.
insane.
That was sick. Because he
that
was
was
like,
raw.
usually you'll lean. His was like straight on, so he had kind of a cool look to
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
It was dope.
When he retires, if we're still doing this, we should get Larry Nance on the pod because he may be after us, number one on the list of people like, did you guys see Jokic?
Oh,
Don't
he's-
you feel like if he came here, he'd be dope because of it?
Yeah.
He's gonna be on the podcast talking about like what he's seen on.
He's like that
There's gonna be
mother.
so many of those.
Yeah, we already have him. More to come. Colby Cheeser. Looks like post game when they went to handshake, Bogey flashed his Jokic Olympic gift watch at Jokic. He's ready for the trade.
Man, that's pretty dope.
Or it's a very nice watch.
Yeah, that's probably that too.
Chunk Dick Wells
I'm ready for
burner.
Bogey. I'm ready for the Serbian connection, man.
Hey, babe, we inching out of the nadir. The Nugs have some folks to give, and dare I say, the vibes are re-immaculated. Next step is having Maul join the party. Speaking of parties, how do you organize a space party? You plan it.
Oh, so good. Classic Chunk,
Classic
man.
Chunk, man.
Classic Chunk. Well,
man.
classic Chunk Dick Wells
That's
burner.
Space parties.
Yeah.
Right. It's his burner, not actually Chunk
You
Dick Well.
plan it.
You gotta plan it. Ariana Marshank, is there any reason, other than fans being mad because of the max contract, that Malone doesn't start Russ and make Jamal earn his minutes back?
No.
Man. I mean, is there any reason? You worry about Murray and how he'd handle that?
The real reason, yes. In the playoffs, you're not
Yes.
winning like that.
I know, but it's early enough that you can.
Yeah, I mean, she did say, like, make him earn his minutes
Yeah.
back. I agree. The answer is no.
I don't think you can not start Jamal. I do think you can reduce his minutes dramatically. I think you can do things like shadow suspend him. You know, doesn't get out that that's what it is, but mysteriously not playing. I think you can do those types of things, but I don't think you can just bench him, man. Like that, the vibes aren't great to begin. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Malone's not going to do it, though.
Yosemite Ham, OKC winning streak, busted. Wiz losing streak, busted. Atlanta winning streak, busted.
Yeah, let's
Jokic
go.
50-point streak, busted. Hashtag streak busters. Hashtag all the Nuggets are good. Hashtag we back.
That was a good one.
That was a good one. No, that was a good one.
Everybody skipped Eric. Hey, babes. Yes, Vogt. No, Dev. No, Adam. One love. That was self-aware and funny, actually. I appreciated that one. Tyler McDaniel, big time win at my first Nuggets game.
Hell yeah.
Hawks fans called Mike a punk after that goaltending on Young at the end. I loved that. His buddy was
come
free,
on.
and he was like, "You can't have this. You can't have this." Will Dooley.
The
Regarding-
boy's dad, man, he's got a new one.
Oh, is this? This is wow, man. I only know you as the boy's dad on here. Regarding DJ and Team Chem, lots of talk last year about his role as a glue guy. None this year. Russell factor. Time for another DJ dinner for the troops?
Man, maybe. I mean, they do need some good vibes, man.
They do. Nelson, Merry Pickmas to all who celebrate.
I'll celebrate it, man. December 8th.
Post nut clarity. Watch out. Every time. Watch out for the 100-point game. It's coming this season.
Look at
The picture?
I haven't seen it before because we're so far typically.
No.
We're very close to our monitor today, so we can see things we'd never caught before.
Smirking. Jamal needs his minutes condensed. No brainer.
I mean, that might be part of it. 42 minutes. Like, hey, let's see.
Yvonne NBG 62. Have to admit, Hawks did miss a lot of threes. This is true. But our defense was better. Probably related. I said yesterday Orlando is dead last in threes made, but we are winning with defense.
But are winning with
defense. And then the point being,
Yeah.
Denver kind of did it today. Yvonne NBG 62. Spirit of the team was much better without Murray.
I mean, it wasn't the case yesterday, so.
To be fair, they certainly didn't look
Yeah.
inspired yesterday. Josh Bonnet from Down Under. First DNVR, now Toyota are sponsoring the Wiggles Big Red Car. Coincidence? Which color wiggle is each DNVR Nuggets
Does anybody
host?
know what this is?
That's a kids show, the Wiggles? I don't know what colors there are.
Like Teletubby?
I think it's a lot like Teletubbies, but
I'll
they're
be the green
people.
car.
I'm a do-rad.
There's it's like a bunch of dudes and they dance and sing songs. They all have different shirts that are
Good
different
forest
colors.
green. Good color for it.
I love
I'll
it.
be
Forest
red.
green. You'll
You
be
guys
red?
gotta be blue.
I'll take blue. That's fine, guys.
I'll be
Blue's
yellow.
a great one.
Sure.
The yellow car. Huh?
Yeah, these are Teletubby colors.
These are Yvonne NBG 62. One more. Perk said he will address Yoke lack of help Monday on ESPN. I know he is a fool, but it's good for Murray to get national attention that he is a cancer of teams so he can pull his head out of his ass.
That is a good, secret one.
Yeah, but this is Perk trying to get Clutch involved, get Yoke out of Denver. Just, I don't like it.
Yeah.
Perk, just you do your thing over there, all right?
LeBron don't even like Perk.
Coop the real. Zeke needs to try and make the best of his chances, even if he is playing like garbage. It's called a trash can, not a trash can't.
Oh, man.
Inspirational. Yvonne NBG 62. Today, Project Bullshit was Project Improvement. Can you keep this one coming all year? Let us know what the project looks like.
Take it.
John Chavez. Rome wasn't built in one day. Didn't fall in one, too.
Ooh, I like it.
You know what? Kind of a bar. Bill Zine Ball. I'd be more comfy if you drew less attention to aliens.
You had the alien comment. Very self-aware. Good job, chat, today. Good job, man.
Chat, well done.
Truly, everybody brought their game today,
Chat, well
man.
done.
Hit that outro music. You already do it. I think you already did it. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us in Studio B for a win. Yesterday it was sickos only. I'll be honest. I think a lot of people didn't tune in tonight out of fear. Like they were protecting their emotions, but not the fine people in this chat. They were like, you know what? We'll go down with the ship if that's what it takes.
Bravery.
Today, we rode again. Everybody, we are back all week, Monday through Friday, doing shows this week. No games, but we'll be doing shows. So you're going to want to tune in. Everybody, do us a favor. Hit that like button on the way out.
We all silly like the mayor.